through the window, by the window, that is where I'll become tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Oh, I hate that song now.
Well, everyone else, you're welcome. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We are two best friends that love to recap and dissect our favorite horror films while drinking our favorite beverage. I'm Emma, and always joined by the beautiful Allison.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm pretty sure I look like a rat right now, but I appreciate that compliment.
And I love rats.
So do I.
Wow. Ratatouille.
Oh, that's cute. I could like sit on top of your head and like
Oh my God.
do a little chef thing.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I love that idea.
Great.
Okay. Let's pocket that for later.
Pocket that. Halloween.
Allie, how have you been?
I've been busy. I've been great. I actually just did a hot chocolate run with my mom, which was amazing. And you know what like reminds me of hot chocolate?
What? Oh,
the fucking Polar Express. You're welcome.
I snuck that one in there.
I got it out of the way at the top.
God damn it. You have another one though?
Yes.
Oh God, I knew it.
I always do. But I also just got back from Napa and something fucking amazing happened. I went to a winery and they had several cats that just live on the property and they name all of their cats after serial killers.
What?
The first one I met was Zodiac. Next was Ted. The next was John Wayne. It was amazing.
Do they have an Ed Gein?
They have like 17 cats. So the gamut's there.
Why does that make me want to get a plethora of animals to name them like famous horror movie characters or like maybe just copy this whole serial killer thing?
I think you should. But how have you been?
I have been good. I have been watching Bates Motel with the producer.
I need to watch that.
And it's good. We ran out of shows to watch and we were like, okay, what do we watch now? It's kind of funny because I know we've talked about also doing Psycho pretty soon. I know it's obviously not a one-to-one, but it's been really fun to kind of dissect what's happening in Bates Motel and kind of compare it and see the influences that obviously it has from Psycho, which is really cool. So
I'm in.
Another thing that I want to say, and this is very exciting, you guys. Allie and I are very happy to announce that we are officially heading to Texas Frightmare Weekend in Irving, Texas, this Memorial Day weekend. So from May 23rd to the 25th. This convention is awesome. It is going to have guests like Bruce Campbell, Ty West, Mark Duplass, David Howard Thornton, and much more. And there's a film fest, vendors, parties, all kinds of fun stuff. So we are so excited. This is our first convention out of the state. But yeah, come find us. Let us know if you guys are going. And you can get your tickets for the convention at texasfrightmareweekend.com. Als, what film are we covering today?
Today we're covering Insidious of 2011. This movie fucked me up when I first saw it.
I feel like that is a common sentiment between a lot of people when this first came out. I feel like it was kind of one of the first of its kind during this like late 2000s, early 2010s kind of like era.
Yeah, it was definitely a first of its kind, and now it's kind of a rinse and repeat system.
It totally is. Yes, 100%.
But that's what we're covering today. And if you haven't seen Insidious and you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it somewhere and then come back to us. But if you don't give a fuck, just come along on this ride with us.
On this tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh my God.
For the synopsis, a family looks to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further.
I like it.
I do too. It's kind of
concise
to the point, and that is basically everything that happens.
Like, that's the movie. End.
Exactly. And related to this synopsis, during conception, the film was originally going to be named The Further. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but I was talking about it with the producer, and I'm like, okay, well, why didn't they call it The Further? Because there's so many Insidiouses. Insidious 2 sounds better than The Further 2.
Even just The Further.
Yeah. The Furthering.
The Furthering. Even further. Maybe we just created a brand. I was just going to say, maybe we like do some skits and like that is now our trilogy name. And although this was the first Insidious film, the subsequent sequels go back and forth in time, making this film actually the third installment if you were going to be watching them like in chronological
So it's
order. So
giving Star Wars where
Yes.
everything's back and like forward.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Something else that's really cool is that this film made just over $100 million from a budget of $1.5 million, making it one of the most profitable films of 2011. And in the film's opening weekend, it brought in $13.3 million. It's just like so crazy that it like totaled $100 million after everything. That really tells you that the public perception of this film was like fairly positive, and I think it was just so well talked about, and people were, holy shit, this is a very scary film, and
Yeah.
it really rocked everybody's world a little bit.
I think they did really good marketing with it as well. I remember seeing the preview
Yeah.
and being like, fuck, this is going to fuck me up. I'm going to watch it right
Yeah.
now.
Because you're like intrigued. You're like, wait. And I feel like anytime someone says in a preview or anything like, oh, people were running out of the theater, or like, this is the scariest film. I mean, I don't know. I take those sometimes with a grain of salt, but I will say like that kind of marketing gets me and
Yeah.
makes me want to watch it. Especially when I hear other people like word of mouth, like, oh shit, I just saw blah, blah, blah. And like, it scared the shit out of me.
It worked.
I need another one of those. Come on, filmmakers. Make me something scary. IMDb gave it a 6.8 out of 10, which I think I agree with.
I would say that. And then the Rotten Tomatoes are pretty much the same. So the tomato meter says 66 and the popcorn meter is 62. So they're basically on par.
Yeah.
Although after rewatching it for our recording, I'm like,
Little lower.
little lower. But back when I first saw it, totally.
Yeah, 100%. This film was directed by James Wan. And this film came as a result of the success of Wan's Saw series. With his film school friend and also the writer of Insidious, Lee Wanell, Wan directed and helped create the first Saw film in 2004. And while he shared with Entertainment Weekly that he was very proud of Saw, he also felt that the film, especially the violence and the gore of it, put some people off and made them hesitant to work with him. And he thus made Insidious independently, in part to prove that he could make a film without that same level of violence that was found in the Saw series. And I think just to show that he could make something just completely different as well, and like really still make something successful.
Yeah, I don't think we see that much blood in this film.
No, there's really like
It's
not a
of
lot
gore.
at all, if anything.
Yeah.
And Wan stated in an interview, the fact that Insidious was not being run by a committee really afforded me the luxury to make the film with lots of creepy, bizarre moments that a studio might not, quote unquote, get.
And James Wan has kind of become like the king of horror.
Oh, he totally has. Absolutely. Another little fun fact here, too, because I know I mentioned his friend and writer of Insidious, Lee Wanell. Lee also plays one of the assistants of Elise, the medium, later in the film. So it's kind of cool because he has his own little part in the film, too.
I think that's like such a cute friendship.
I know. Like
Partnership.
That's the kind of shit I would do. Like if I was a director, I'd have all my fucking friends.
So I
in
would
these
be.
films. Oh, you'd be the star.
Oh.
You'd be the first girl.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I don't have to act that much.
No.
Great.
Yeah. You're like Paris Hilton in House of Wax.
I love how much you reference that movie.
I actually really like love that.
And we got some stars in this film.
We do have some stars.
My main man, Patrick Wilson, who plays Josh. Like, need I say more?
He's in oh, I know what you're going to say.
The things I would do.
He is a very handsome man.
Yes, he is.
And he's also in The Conjuring, Phantom of the Opera, Watchmen. I mean,
Ooh, him and Watchmen. You know what I'm talking about.
oh yeah, he hot. He hot. I will say though, and Els, I think that you agree with me here, that it does get a little confusing between his character in The Conjuring and then his character in this film. Because before we started watching this again and decided to review it on the pod, in my head I was like, wait, is he Ed Warren in this one, or is he just the dad? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wait, okay, he is just the dad in this film, in this universe.
In my psycho brain, it's confusing the like demons and ghosts and horror people. Like I'm like,
It's all crossing over.
it's all crossing over. Wait, that should be like a mashup.
It should be.
We also have Rose Byrne, who I love. She plays Renee, and she's in a lot of my comfort movies, which are like Bridesmaids, Neighbors, everything. She can do anything. She's also super hot.
She is super hot. I love her.
We also have Ty Simpkins, who plays Dalton, and this creepy little fucker has been in a ton of shit. I love that he was also in Little Children that also stars Patrick Wilson. So they work together on several projects.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I've never seen it.
Oh my God, it's great.
Oh.
Kate Winslet.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, sold. He was also in Jurassic World, which we all know I am a big Jurassic Park franchise kid.
Yeah, you are.
And he was recently in The Whale,
Oh.
which I bawled my fucking eyes out watching.
Brendan.
Brendan.
God, I love him.
God bless.
God bless.
that man. Lynn Shay plays Elise Rainier, who is, y'all, this woman is fantastic. She is so amazing. She's in There's Something About Mary.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all know, you know.
She's in A Cinderella Story.
Oh my God.
Give me a break. I love that.
Oh, she's just the best.
She's a little scream queen, but she can also do anything. She can do anything.
She's so just like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Transcendent.
Yes. Oh my God.
Transcendent.
I love that. Oh my God. Als, what did you think about the score for this film?
Bro, that was honestly one of the scariest parts. Like, I'm sound sensitive, and I think that really jolted my fear factor.
I think that was totally the purpose, too.
Yeah.
It's like to make people kind of uncomfortable.
So they did a great job because it haunts me.
This music score was composed by Joseph Bishara, who also appears in the film as the red-faced demon. Did you know that?
Oh my God, I did not.
Yeah, dude.
Darth Maul?
Mr. Darth Maul himself with a cul-de-sac hairline. The score was performed with a quartet that included 33 violins, and a bulk of the score was improvised and structured in the editing process.
Wait, I love that.
And on describing the approach of the film's soundtrack, director James Wan explained, quote, "We wanted a lot of the scare sequences to play really silent, but what I like to do with the soundtrack is set you on edge with a really loud, sort of like a tonal, scratchy violin score, mixing with some really weird piano bangs, and take that away. And then all of a sudden you're like, what just happened here?"
It reminds me of The Ring, how they just kind of jump scare you with sound.
With sound, 100%. Absolutely. Which, if I'm being completely honest, I kind of prefer that more than like a cheesy jump scare in a lot of horror films.
I love when the score is one of the main characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Gosh, absolutely. Because it's so memorable. I feel like anyone who watches this film, that's one of the things that they walk away with is like, oh shit, this soundtrack was so gnarly.
Literally still haunts me.
And on that note, Allison,
Oh.
before we get into the film, what are we drinking today?
Well, you know me with my 3 bevies. I am drinking my classic WC Black Cherry. And Emma and I went to Starbucks today, so I also have a iced passion tea lemonade sweetened with light ice. And moon water, because we just had a full moon from my big dumb cup.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's nice and charged.
Yeah. Emma, what are you drinking?
I am having a lovely matcha, an iced matcha with lavender foam. And it is fantastic.
And you have a Gatorade.
And I have a Gatorade. Well, I wasn't going to tell everybody that.
Oh, my bad.
I had a little too much to drink last night, and so I'm rehydrating today.
Not me. I'm rehydrating with White Claw.
There you go. There you go.
All right, fuckers, let's get into Insidious.
Cheers to the tulips.
I hate that, but I love you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This film opens with a shot of a child sleeping in bed and then a slow pan through a dark house, sort of illuminated by some dim lighting, and we see a woman's shadow through a window.
It's almost like an immediate jump scare. You know,
right. They just lead right in.
Yeah. This is what you're going to expect throughout this entire film.
Exactly. And I know we mentioned the score already, and it really starts immediately. We hear this creepy, discordant music building tension kind of as this camera is moving down the hall, where we see this old, like, shadowy woman, and she's glimpsed sort of briefly, and her face is partially obscured by darkness and a candle. And she stands motionless, creating this immediate sense of dread.
And anything regarding bedtime kind of scares me a lot.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. That was a very hard thing for me to get over as a child, was like sleeping alone with shadows and shit. Like nightlights did not help.
I still sleep with a nightlight.
Nightlights scare the shit out of me because they
okay.
make scary shadows of things. Like I used to have a rocking horse and it would look like a demon in the shadow.
That's different.
Yeah. No, it didn't rock on its own, but just the shadow from the nightlight.
All right.
Just saying.
That is terrifying.
And then immediately the title screen just slams onto the screen. with a deafening high-pitched violin. So just like we mentioned before, again, it's almost like a jump scare with the music. And this just sets that jarring tone for the rest of the film.
Yeah, again, that score is a paid actor.
It is a paid actor. And the opening credits start, and they're showing some black and white photos of the house that we're about to learn all about.
And I have a quick question for you. Why the fuck are these credits so long?
I thought the exact same thing. I have no idea.
And I get we're getting context about what we're about to see with the darkness and all of that, but
You don't really need it.
you don't really need it. And I feel like films are shortening their title credits a lot more, even if they have a title credit.
Well, and this title credit too doesn't really give us much. I mean, it's not like a actual part of the film. It's like literally a sequence of photos.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of, you don't really need it.
It could have been an email, like I always say.
It could have been an email. Things sort of change, and we see the mom in this film, Renee, and she's waking up for the day next to her husband, Josh. And we see morning light filtering through the windows as Renee walks around the house trying to put away items from moving boxes. So you can tell that they are fresh into like a new home.
But while they're waking up, I do have a note. Renee is bothered by Josh's snoring, and I'm like, bro, you need some breathe right strips right now. But is he snoring so loud because he's in a haunted dream?
He might be in
The further?
when I snore.
That's a great question.
Oh, now I'm scared.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Bummer.
Well. As Renee is putzing around the house and she's finding some old photo albums, going through them, and as she is diving into them, her son Dalton comes downstairs and complains about not liking his room.
Which is a red flag because kids know things. Just like pets know things, kids know things.
Yeah, always take that kind of shit seriously.
Totally.
Like, if it's like, oh, I don't like my room because it doesn't have enough room for me to have my Metallica posters up, that's one thing. But if they're like, I just don't like the vibe in here, it scares me. Okay, maybe listen to your child.
Totally listen. Also, Dalton is immediately terrified. He's scary. Is he not?
He really scares you, doesn't he?
He does. I don't know. It's like little terrifying boys, just like in The Ring. That kid was scarier than anything else.
That 40-year-old man, you mean?
That 40-year-old businessman that is in a 10-year-old's body.
Go listen to The Ring, you guys, if you want to hear more about that.
And downstairs, they're looking at photos together. We also notice that Josh, the husband, is not in basically any photos.
Well, yeah, and Dalton, he's like, I want to see a picture of dad when he was young, but there are none, which is going to come into play later in the film. Renee sort of brushes it off as like, oh, your dad didn't take a lot of pictures when he was young, but it's like, well, there might be some reasons why.
Question. Wouldn't you be suspicious if you didn't see younger pictures of your spouse?
Absolutely. I actually have a small pile of the producer's young photos because I think they're adorable, and I'd be very perturbed if he didn't have those.
I think that's cute and weird at the same time.
Well, oh well.
Okay.
This house, too, creeps me out a little bit. The house itself is definitely spacious, but it has this worn, kind of unsettling quality. Like, you can tell that there's a bit of peeling wallpaper, creaky floors, like shadows that just seem a little too deep, if you know what I mean.
Obviously, that's purposeful on the production side, but
Absolutely.
It looks like a creepy craftsman that is definitely haunted. I don't know if you caught this, but Renee says at one point, I want this house to feel better than the last one.
I didn't catch that, but that's...
And I'm like, girlfriend, maybe it's something traveling with you.
Maybe it's y'all.
Maybe it's y'all. Or maybe it's your hubs.
Ooh.
Spoiler.
And as the family is getting ready for the day, we're introduced to their other son, Foster, and their daughter, their baby daughter, Callie, and Josh while he's getting ready for work.
And Renee discovers some books she put into a bookshelf are now just splattered all over the floor. Girlfriend, check those red flags.
Yeah, and she's like looking at it like, oh, that's weird. But I guess if you do have kids, you're probably like, oh, I mean, they could have knocked it or something.
But your house looks haunted, bitch.
See the writing on the wall.
Literally.
We also find out in this part of the film that Renee is a musician, and they have a piano, and she starts playing this melancholic tune, I would say, on her piano.
I was trying to figure out, is she a musician that distributes to like
Horror Movies Are Us?
Wait. Business plan.
That's a great business plan. We will help you fill your film with eerie music.
Yeah. Love that. But I think it's more jingly.
Yeah, it is a little jingly.
Yeah.
It is. But it gives the house this weird kind of eerie calm kind of. And I think the kids, they must be at school, right? Because isn't this I think it's just her and the baby at home at this point.
You're probably right.
Yeah. And baby Callie gets woken up from a nap, and Renee sees it on the baby monitor that she's waking up. And Renee goes and investigates, and there are some weird noises coming from the attic. So Josh, on the opposite end of things, we find out is a school teacher. He comes home late from work that night to a very chaotic house, and Renee is still doing a lot of the work and unpacking their place. And Dalton, as this is happening, he's playing on the stairwell, and he's lingering a little near the attic door, which creaks very ominously as if it's kind of beckoning him.
It's calling to him. Seriously.
No, it truly is.
Bro, your dad is basically Ed Warren. Don't go into the attic.
Stay out of creepy shit.
Stay out of creepy shit.
Man, curiosity kills the kid. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
I'm full of these today.
Oh my God.
What's going on?
Marketer.
I know. I'm fresh-faced. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you are.
Renee complains to Josh that she's not able to find her sheet music anywhere, which is weird because, we just saw that she had it, and now it's like, okay, it's just completely disappeared. It's weird.
Also, question for you. If you knew you had an attic, would you just let your kids kind of wander around the house when you just moved in?
No, I think I would probably establish some sort of ground rules, like maybe go up there first, check it out, make sure it's not
lock that shit.
I was going to say or lock it. If it's really not somewhere that may be safe for them, definitely lock it and tell the kids to we don't want you even trying to get in.
But when the spirits call, you got to go.
You got to go. Meanwhile, Dalton is up in the attic now, and he's got nothing but a little lantern. While he's in the attic, he is climbing this narrow ladder to try and turn the light on. And as this happens, he falls. Dalton's gaze locks onto a very pitch black corner of the attic, and his eyes widen in terror, reflecting something unseen. He is seeing something, but we as the viewers are not seeing it. Renee and Josh rush in. They dismiss a lot of his fright as just shock from the fall, and they carry him to bed, unaware of what he might have seen. And Renee stays behind for a moment in the attic and finds her missing sheet music box, which you can definitely tell freaks her out a little bit.
She's one of those girls. She should be a first girl because she's missing all of the cues.
All of the cues. They're all there, baby.
Yeah. It's laid out right in front of you on your sheet music.
Literally on your sheet music. Renee and Josh then put the kids to bed and talk about the move and how they want things to be different this time. So yeah, we're bringing it up yet again. And while everyone is sleeping, we see something in the darkness of Dalton's room, but we don't know exactly what it is.
I will say, while Josh and Renee are getting ready for bed, I'm pretty sure their bedspread's from IKEA. I swear. It is.
It probably is.
And I love how, I don't know why this was necessary, but I love it. Josh has a bedtime routine of putting eye cream on. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't, but we love a man that takes care of himself.
And he does take care of himself.
He does.
He does. It's working. Drop that skincare routine.
The next morning, Dalton does not wake up, despite Josh's attempts to rouse him.
He basically, Josh literally goes in and he's like, wake up, buddy, wake up, buddy.
Everyone else in the family is awake.
Yeah.
And I think Renee is like, can you go wake Dalton up? He's oversleeping.
And then they're like, okay, he's not waking up. So they take him to the hospital, and the doctors are like, he's fine. His vitals are all fine. He's just not awake.
Yeah, they say that his scans are all normal, but he definitely is in a coma, but they're not sure why, which I can imagine as a parent is incredibly frustrating.
I think they're acting way too casual about, if I were a parent, I'd be bawling, I'd be freaking the fuck out, but they're just like, accepting and just, okay, what do we do next kind of thing.
There's probably a bit of a shock factor too.
Totally.
Like they're probably just in shock that this is even like their son was completely fine, but he did have a fall. So maybe there's a part of them too that's like, did he get some sort of injury from the fall in the attic? Or they probably just have a lot of questions, I'm assuming, just like swimming around their brains. Ooh.
Just like we do.
Ooh.
Oh.
Then a montage shows us 3 months passing. And we see at this, 3-month timeline that Dalton is still in a coma and he's lying motionless in a hospital bed at home while Renee gets a lesson from a nurse, an at-home nurse, on how to administer a tube into Dalton's nose.
I was watching that this morning, that part, and it was so sad.
It's so sad.
To just, I can feel her defeat and having to listen to this about your child.
Renee is exhausted and she's very haunted too. And she's playing the piano during some downtime. But here's a weird whispering coming from Callie's baby monitor, followed by this deep guttural voice demanding, "I want it now." So scary.
I think that was one of the scariest parts.
Agreed.
Girl, if I ever have a child, baby monitors will scare the shit out of me.
Even my Furbo scares me sometimes. Like the Furbo just went on by itself and made a noise, and literally we're just sitting here. My dogs are not doing anything, so I don't know what's happening.
Maybe the Furbos thinks we're dogs.
After this happens, Renee is freaking the fuck out, as she should, and she's rushing to Callie's room, and there's nothing in there that made that noise besides little baby Callie just crying, screaming in bed. So that's fucking terrifying. And later that night, when putting Foster to bed, he tells his mom, he tells Renee that Dalton walks around at night and it scares him.
Fuck that right off. Like, that's a huge no for me.
Absolutely not. Like, what do you mean he walks around? Dalton needs a fucking baby monitor.
Dalton does need a baby monitor.
Watch his ass.
So Dalton's the one in the coma that's in it, like being nurse induced or whatever.
And then poor Foster has to deal with his fucking creepy ass antics. And when trying to sleep later that night, poor little Foster, he gets up from his bed to close the door so that he can't see Dalton. Because I think what they have is almost kind of like a Jack and Jill type room, right? Where it's like they share like a bathroom that's kind of between the two rooms. So he can see Dalton in the bed. And that's probably where he sees him like walk around. And so Foster gets up to try to close the door so that he can't see Dalton. And we hear some noises coming from the other side of the door as he jumps back into bed. Like, fuck that shit.
Fuck right off.
Literally.
This whole house needs a baby monitor.
It does need a baby monitor. And speaking of baby monitors, meanwhile, Renee and Josh are talking about Renee's day and her incident with Callie and the baby monitor. And Josh just chalks it up to it being interference. But Renee's like, dude, no, that was someone whispering.
But we really start to see Josh disassociate.
Yes. He's like he's not there.
Renee is saying, fuck this shit. It's creepy. This is what happened today. And Josh is just like.
He's just not really believing her or even giving the opportunity to like it's okay if you don't necessarily believe her, but you should still like let her know her feelings are valid.
Listen to your wife.
Listen to your wife. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Literally, that's all you need to know.
And as they're talking, they hear some distinct knocking from their front door. And Josh goes to investigate. He finds no one at the door.
All I'm saying is these people are old enough to have seen Poltergeist. These are the signs to get the fuck out.
Okay, I have to give props to the producer because earlier he said that this film was 50 Shades of Poltergeist.
Yeah, he did. I'm going to put that on t-shirt.
I know. Insidious, 50 Shades of Poltergeist.
All right, it's in production. Vistaprint, where you at?
Yeah. We're trademarking that, everybody, so
don't take it from us.
While Josh is checking the door, Renee hears Callie crying on the monitor. And as she goes into the room, oh God, this part does fucking get me.
Same.
As she goes into the room, she sees a figure standing over Callie's crib behind those little sheer canopies that sometimes go over like little kids' beds.
Also, why would you aren't those dangerous?
They are, probably. But I mean, I don't know.
I used to have one, but I was like a teenager.
Yeah, I was going to say I had one in like a teenage bed.
Yeah.
Was that like a thing for teenage girls?
100%.
It was, right?
Millennial girls.
I think I got it from Limited too.
Oh, I think I got mine from like IKEA.
Amazing.
Ooh, second shout out to IKEA.
We love IKEA. I'm Swedish.
Yeah, you are.
There you go.
My little Swedish wrist.
And as this is happening, something else happens. So then the house alarm gets tripped and the front door appears wide open, but we don't see anything causing that. So all of these things are all happening in tandem and it's causing a lot of chaos in the middle of their night. Like Josh is checking the door, Renee's checking the baby, the house alarm goes off, and all of them are just like, what the fuck? And Renee is freaking the fuck out too because she just saw this like figure behind the canopy of the bed.
I just figured something out. This movie is a mixture of Poltergeist, The Ring, Amityville Horror.
Ooh, Amityville.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I can
all
see.
the things happening all at once. And The Conjuring,
chaos.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
James.
50 Shades.
50 Shades.
50 Shades, babe.
50 Shades of James Wan.
Yeah.
That can go on the back of the t-shirt.
There you go. So Renee grabs Foster and Callie while Josh is trying to investigate what's going on, and the alarm trips again, and Josh still finds nothing. So it's very weird. And the next day at school, Josh seems very preoccupied and stressed, but he calls Renee to tell her that he needs to stay late to grade some tests.
He's for sure making that bullshit up.
Oh yeah, he just doesn't want to go home.
He doesn't want to go home.
Which is so sad. And a fun fact or a little Easter egg in this scene is that in the background, we see a drawing of what looks like Billy from Saw on the chalkboard.
Really?
Or on the whiteboard or whatever it was. Isn't that fun?
Wait, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Literally, it's actually pretty clear. Like, if you've seen Saw, you're like, oh shit, that's Billy. Like, literally on the board. Isn't that fun?
We love those facts.
I know. Like, why is he there, though?
Same universe.
Hey. Later that day, Renee confides in Dalton's visiting nurse about the uncertainty of Dalton's condition. And when the nurse leaves, Renee discovers a bloody handprint smeared on Dalton's bedsheet near his foot.
I want to ask.
Spooky.
Yes, very spooky and strange. If you've seen this movie, you kind of can understand where it might have come from. I want to know who it came from.
Because we never really get that full answer.
We don't.
Which maybe adds to like what is so unsettling about it is that we just never find out. And it's just, and we are going to find out a little later that there are more than one spirit in this whole scenario. So
I think I know who it was.
Who do you think it was?
The like family, like
yeah, maybe
the spirit family, like the dead spirit family. But regardless, she finds this, obviously fucks her up. Why doesn't she call the cops?
I had the exact same question. That's grounds for cops.
Yeah,
in my book.
Also, I'd be so fucking pissed at my husband if I would call him straight up and say, "Get your ass home right now."
Well, she does kind of call him out.
Yeah,
right
she
after
does.
this. Yeah. So later when Josh comes home from work at 10:30 from school, Renee begs Josh to believe her that something is wrong with the house. And she said it feels like a sickness, but he dismisses her fears as just stress-induced hallucinations.
Yeah. And they're sitting on the steps of their spooky ass craftsman home, and she's begging him to believe her. And then he's like gaslighting her. And then she says, well, okay, figure this out, and hands him the sheet with the bloody handprint on it. And he does nothing.
He literally does nothing. He sleeps on the couch that night.
As he should.
But as he's sleeping that night, he gets weird visions of Dalton, the house, eerie figures, kind of etc. And this is the first time that we're seeing this sort of bleeding into Josh. But we have gotten those indications even from the beginning of the film that like there's stuff like not adding up from his background too. Like the lack of not having a lot of photos and him being so disconnected, the snoring, if you will.
Yeah. I think we just put that together.
I think we did.
Should we direct a movie?
I mean, yes.
Okay. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We will cast Paris Hilton.
And Patrick Wilson.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Paris and Patrick.
Oh, maybe we call it that. No.
Oh.
We'll workshop this.
Yeah, we're going to workshop it. Okay. That night, Renee wakes up from a bad dream and sees someone walking outside of her room window, kind of like it's weird because it's like, does she have like a little balcony or something maybe right outside her window? Because it looks like they're like almost walking back and forth.
Oh, I thought it was just like a window, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't like, but are they floating, or like, I don't know.
They're dancing.
Oh my God, Disney. I love it. Okay. Well, and then a man shows up in her room and fucking lunges at her. She is frantic. She is stressed, overwhelmed. And she's like, Josh, dude, some shit just went down. You got to believe me. And he's still sort of dismissing her fears, which is crazy. Like, she literally saw a man that like lunged at her.
I would literally just straight up, peace out, Josh.
I mean, yeah, I'm taking the kids.
Yep, exactly.
I'm taking the dog.
We're going to the Holiday Inn and we're rolling that TV out of the house or the room.
Oh, very poltergeisty. Where's Craig T. Nelson when you need him?
Oh, you love a Craig T.
I do. Oh, God, I love him.
So do I, though. Zaddy.
Oh, God.
What?
Unable to bear like the mounting terror of what's happening, Renee convinces Josh to move. She's like, dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And she's hoping that it will help them to escape all of these weird occurrences that have been going on in that new house.
I wonder how they move from escrow to escrow like so fast.
I had the same question. I'm like, no offense, but you're a musician. He's a teacher. Y'all don't make that much money.
And in LA?
Yeah, in LA.
Yeah.
Like, unless like she's like a really famous composer that she doesn't lead on to.
I'm deducing that she's not.
Yeah. Maybe they got that money from their parents. Generational wealth, if you will.
Wealth. They also have 3 kids. That's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Maybe she saves money on fashion.
Oh, maybe she has like a TikTok shop.
Oh, okay. I was going to say more like instead of buying like heels, she's buying more of like a sensible sandal. But
maybe she's into stocks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't know what their investments are like.
Exactly.
We have a lot of questions. I like it.
So many
I'd like to see their bank accounts.
Yeah.
I'd like to do an audit.
We're auditing them right now in our brains.
An Amity audit. I don't know. I just thought that rolled off the tongue.
You're into like
alliteration
or puns today?
Yeah, puns.
Like, both. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Sorry.
In this
also,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, but don't the houses look the exact same?
They are so similar.
I wouldn't be shocked if they filmed it in the same house.
Save a little money. See, they're frugal.
Hey, and it worked. They got that ROI on this movie.
So Renee does get Josh to move houses. Like they do move into a new house. And while unpacking the kitchen, we are introduced to Josh's mother for the first time, Lorraine. As Lorraine unpacks a family photo, she stops and stares at it. And you can tell that it's not oh, cute, like look at this family photo. It's a almost surprising look. And she tells Renee that she's surprised that she got Josh to quote unquote stand still for a photo.
It's like my husband. Oh no. Oh no.
No, you have so many pictures of Kevin. You would notice some spirits in there.
Yeah, because I force him.
Lorraine tells Renee not to worry about what's going on and that, she shouldn't apologize for anything right now with what's like happening with Dalton. And they kind of have this like moment together where it almost just feels like Lorraine knows what's going on, but isn't fully letting on.
She fucking totally knows what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
This bitch.
But maybe she's in denial and like hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, but as a mom, wouldn't you just...
She should have told her.
Disclose this information?
100%.
Okay.
This should have been disclosed way earlier.
I'm a mom to cats, and I disclose to them when they're having problems.
About their past.
Yes. Oh gosh, 9 lives.
A little later, as Renee is cleaning, she's putting on a classical record.
Is she?
Yes.
She put that record on intentionally?
Not that song. So... the record player clicks onto another song, playing a vintage song that echoes eerily through the halls. Tiptoe through the window, through the door. This is where I'll be. I'll tiptoe through the tulips with me. Oh.
Wow.
Should we go get my ukulele?
Yes,
the other room?
like right now.
Oh my God.
Also, that song still haunts my brain.
It is a haunting song. It's weird because it doesn't really freak her out, just the song playing. But then she takes the trash outside, and as she takes the trash outside, she looks back into her window, and there is a boy, a little boy in old-fashioned clothing just dancing to the music as she watches outside the window, and she's just like, what the fuck?
It literally looks like a little page boy, like the one that would stand on the corner with the caps and like hand out newspapers in New York or something.
Yep, absolutely.
And I want to know why. I want to know his backstory.
Is he supposed to be a child, or is he supposed to be a little man? Because the person that plays him is actually like a 40-year-old actor.
Which is so
in this
weird.
Point. Yeah. So I have a lot of questions about this.
We need to, I don't think he has a name, but we'll call it Page Boy.
Perfect. And as Renee approaches and is trying to figure out who the fuck this kid is, he vanishes. It's so funny because he is like giggling, and it's definitely a lighter moment in the film. Like, truly, this part didn't scare me at all. I just more was like, what the fuck?
I thought it was kind of cute.
Yeah, it wasn't like really bad.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was kind of our first indication that there might be other spirits that aren't necessarily like super demonic and scary.
Or is he?
Oh, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's true. We don't really know.
We don't
yet.
know. This is why we're creating the Page Boy. Insidious, the Page Boy.
Insidious, the page boy.
But this is also when she kind of deciphers shit is following us from house to house.
Yep. And these occurrences are intensifying a little bit. We have all kinds of stuff happening at this point in the film. I mean, there's objects moving on their own, doors opening, giggling. It's probably all this little page boy, but
I kind of want to be friends.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I still want to be friends with them.
Okay. At another point in Dalton's room, Renee comes face to face with the little boy as he jumps out of the closet, scaring her and giggling and running away. It's like a face-to-face like interaction.
That reminds me of The Conjuring.
Oh, God.
So many parallels.
Later at home, Josh comes back and Renee is visiting with a priest, and she's also with Lorraine at the house as well. And she tells Josh about her experience with the little boy earlier, that she called the priest because she believes that whatever was haunting them at the old house has now followed them.
Question. If you felt like this, would you deduce that it is your husband and you just need to bail?
No.
I don't think I would
Not
either.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know yet.
Yeah, but I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd be dead by now.
Yeah, you'd be dead by now.
I'm in the further.
You're in the further.
I am the further.
You're partying in the further with the demons.
Oh my God. We'll get to that later, but like, I'm down.
You're 100% doing that. Lorraine then recounts a vivid nightmare about Dalton's room. And she explains that in her dream, she saw a shadowy figure with hollow eyes lurking in the corner, watching Dalton. And Lorraine asked, "What do you want?" And the figure replied in a very raspy voice, "Dalton." Oh my God, scary. Wait, do it again. Here, I'll give you your moment to shine.
Dalton.
That was really good.
Spooky.
Poof. And mid-conversation, Lorraine then gasps and her eyes are fixed behind Josh.
And this part actually does fuck me up a little bit. I know it doesn't scare you.
Well, this part I think does kind of scare me.
Okay. So behind Josh is our red-faced demon who I've named Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Yeah. Demon Darth Maul. Darth Maul demon?
Middle-aged Darth Maul.
There we go. Perfect. And it's directly behind him, and he just like pops his little head out behind Josh.
And if you guys remember, this is the actor who also is responsible for the score of the film.
Cutie patootie. Oh, he's my cutie patootie for this film.
He is a cutie patootie.
Although he haunts my dreams.
As some cutie patooties do.
Truly.
You know?
Yeah.
Chaos erupts at this point as the demon kind of like attacks, like sending objects flying and actually hurling Dalton pretty violently in his bed, leaving everyone screaming. And Lorraine is like, she just is like, I know someone who can help.
Which, again, this is also a bad parenting film.
Terrible parenting.
With Lorraine not disclosing Josh's past, with Josh being complacent. So,
and causing marital problems between him and Renee, because maybe if Renee knew a little bit more, this could have been worked out in different ways.
Totally. I want to know if they go to like marriage counseling. What was it like when they first met, you know?
Yeah. Like when were they actually like seemingly happy with each other?
So, and what started the hauntings to start again? You know? We should have a questions podcast.
We should, where we're just getting them answered by everybody in the film.
But then producer would shut us down and say, it's a movie.
God damn it. Yep.
But I agree.
So Lorraine contacts Elise Rayner, who is an eccentric psychic, and Elise sends her assistants first to do some tests. And this is where we're introduced to Specs and Tucker. And if you guys remember at the beginning of the film, we talked about how one of the writers, the writer, I guess, who accompanied James Wan, his name is Lee Whannell. He plays Specs, which is really cool. They bring an array of strange devices in to like detect spiritual energy. And this is, speaking of energy, this is giving major poltergeist energy.
100%. Also, I think they are some, like, probably my favorite characters.
Oh, this is where the film starts to get good in my brain. Like, this is where I love this. And honestly, Elise and Specs and Tucker, it really is a direct rip off of Poltergeist, but sure. I do kind of like it because there are some things that are going to come up in just a bit that are almost like an ode to the movie that James Wan included in here purposely, which is cool. And
I like that Specs and Tucker give a little bit of comedic relief.
Oh, they 100% do.
And you guys know I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely love that. And so they conduct these tests, concluding that there definitely is some spiritual energy awry in this house. So then Elise arrives, and she's got this warm feeling, like energy. She's awesome.
I mean, I love anything she does.
She's like a sweet grandma.
I don't know if she's a grandma. She looks.
No, but she's giving sweet grandma.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like she's got some really like warm cookies on the oven.
Oh.
You know?
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Me too. Fuck.
Something I've noticed about this film is there's a lot of, again, we've talked about score, but sounds. So piano playing, the metronome, the grandfather clock. It's all like kind of TikTok sound based.
Literal
TikTok, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's just like, it's to unsettle us. And it did.
And it also probably has a weird underlying like time sort of thing because it's also been so much time that Dalton has been in the further. And it's like everyone is just waiting for him to come out of it. But it's such a time suck, you know?
Oh my God, we're unpacking this a lot.
We really are. I like it. So Elise, when she comes in, she tells Josh that it's been a while since she last saw him. She says, oh, it's, I've been friends with your mom for a long time.
I would be so pissed if I didn't know these things about myself.
Yeah.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. As Elise examines Dalton's room, she stops abruptly and has her eyes fixed on the ceiling over Dalton's medical bed. And her face becomes pale. She's hinting at something very dreadful, and she's describing what she's seeing to her assistant, to Specs, and he is drawing. And he draws a sketch of a chilling image of the red-faced demon with the black eyes and sharpened claws.
Sharpened claws? White claws?
Yeah. Oh. I think he has black claws, but black cherry claws.
Black cherry claws. Oh my gosh, love.
We love him. But this is our Mr. Middle-aged Darth Maul.
Yeah. And I kind of, do you believe in the sketching, like all of the sketching stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So do I. And we see that a lot in horror movies, I'm realizing. No, I believe in that heavily.
Yeah. Elise explains that Dalton has been what they call astral projecting in his sleep, and he's becoming lost in quote unquote the further, which is a dark spiritual realm. She says it's actually not the house that's haunted, but unfortunately it is Dalton, and it will follow them for as long as he is still being haunted by this energy.
Question for you. Knowing what we know, wouldn't Elise deduce that Josh is haunted still?
Maybe she just can't see it because think about this. If she's there with Josh and Dalton, but Dalton is really the one who's clearly in a coma.
In the further,
she's probably thinking, oh, all these spirits I'm seeing related to Dalton. She might not think like, oh shit, some of these might be attached to Josh as well.
Yeah.
Like she might not see that connect right there because the more obvious thing is that Dalton is clearly haunted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you, but I think knowing Elise,
she should be maybe a little more privy to that.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good point. Elise explains that Dalton has been astro projected for a while and that it's led him to travel a little bit too far and now he's lost, hence why he really hasn't been able to wake up again and come back to them. Spirits in the further are desperate to live again, and they're drawn to Dalton's empty body, seeking to possess it. And that is where the red-faced demon kind of comes in, because he is the closest to getting possession of Dalton's body, and he wants to do very evil things.
This is like Survivor. It's like, who gets Dalton's body?
Is that how Survivor works?
I'm not sure, but you know what I mean.
It's like a competition show.
It's a competition. Like, okay, who gets to go into Dalton's body?
Okay, this would be a great SNL skit where it like really is like a competition and all the little like spirits have like confessional time where they're like being interviewed and like, are we just on a fucking roll today with like the ideas? Someone write these down.
We'll listen back to it. There we go.
At least we have this on record.
Yes.
Elise then explains that the only thing they can try is a little bit unorthodox. But Josh is like, dude, I don't want to do any of this shit. Like, he's kind of being combative with her and doubts Elise's practices just in general. Like, he's like, this is dumb. Why are we even doing any of this? And Elise and her assistants then eventually leave. And later, Josh goes to Dalton's bedside and begs him to show him that he can hear him. And as he's talking to Dalton, a drawing falls off of Dalton's wall, and it's one of the red-faced demon. It definitely frightens Josh and makes him question his beliefs on the matter. And at this moment, Renee walks in and Josh finally agrees that, okay, they need to let Elise try to help them.
Honestly, get the fuck out, Renee.
This is your time, girlfriend.
This is the time.
I think though, when you're so like deep, she obviously can't just like easily grab Dalton and leave. You know what I mean?
I know.
So she'd be also leaving her children behind, or one of her children.
Her haunted child.
Her haunted child.
Yes. This is a tough situation.
It is. It's very tough.
Again, I'd be in the further, so I don't know how to help these people.
I don't know how to get out.
I'd be trying to take Dalton's body.
Ooh, scary. So you're on the competition show.
I'm on the competition show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's really kind of between you and the red-faced demon.
Or the little boy.
Oh.
I think he's got a leg up on this. Get it?
Oh.
Get it? Because he's like tiptoeing, leg up.
Through the window?
Yeah.
So Elise and her assistants eventually do come back, and they immediately get to work prepping the house, getting things ready to have sort of a seance in Dalton's room. So Elise puts the scary gas mask on, which she speaks softly into while her assistant repeats everything that she's saying. It's a very interesting little like process that they have. They call out to Dalton to see if they can get any sort of response. And Dalton does communicate with them, saying that he can't really see where he is and that, quote unquote, if they hear me, they'll hurt me, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Really. And then like, and kind of scary. Imagine if you like heard your little child say that, you know, or like.
Kind of like when they're in a TV.
I was just going to say, this is poltergeist, baby. Dalton claims that the man with fire on his face will hurt him and that there's no way out. While this convo is happening too, the cameras that the team has set up are going off, capturing energy happening in Dalton's room. Like we just keep seeing this like flash, flash, flash. So we can tell like, oh shit, okay, like they're communicating with Dalton. It's probably pissing off the spirits and like shit's happening.
Also, if you have epilepsy, don't watch this part because it's it bothered my eyes.
Epilepsy warning.
Yes.
Here it is. Dalton cries out for help using Elise as the communication vessel. And then the assistant starts getting like a series of vulgar messages while Elise convulses. And then everything stops.
The assistant is also a really good stenographer because he moves fast.
Oh, yeah. He's quick. He is quick. Then Dalton, still asleep, gets up from his bed and sends everyone sitting at the table flying out of their chairs. And the room just turns into chaos. Other spirits are terrorizing Renee and Josh and Elise. Everyone's trying to have a breakthrough still with Dalton. And Elise is trying to tell the spirits to leave his vessel. It's very scary.
Dalton is the bachelor. This is the competition show. Dalton is the bachelor.
Explain.
They're vying for his body, his love. Dalton is the bachelor.
But he doesn't have a say in who he picks.
Or does he?
I don't think he does.
Whoops.
It was a little half-baked, but I could see where you were going there.
Flavor of Love, like that. Producer says Flavor of
What
Love.
about Rock of Love with Bret Michaels?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay.
After the chaos dissipates, the assistants are trying to review footage from the event, and Specs is using 2 pieces of meat to ice his face.
I thought that was amazing.
Well, I have a fun fact about this.
Oh, God.
So after the first big violent event in the second house, which is what we just saw, the 2 videographers go into the kitchen and one of them lays his head on the tile countertop, exactly like the one in Poltergeist, and then puts raw steak on his face, clearly an homage to the crawling steak scene in Poltergeist.
How did I not
Isn't
catch
that cool?
that? That's
I love it. I
that's-
know.
Good catch.
So good. Tucker then shows Specs a video of the red-faced demon controlling Dalton's movements during the violent episode. So on video, they see the demon is the one that got Dalton up and, like threw everyone around the room and stuff.
He powerful.
He powerful. Very scary. This is very reminiscent of A Weekend at Bernie's.
Just moving that body around.
This is the darker version.
I'll take it.
Elise then calls Lorraine and tells her to come over because there's something that they must talk about. This is where Lorraine finally confesses that Josh also astral projected as a child and that he used to suffer with really bad night terrors. Lorraine tells him, "You were so terrified of an old woman who used to come visit you at night."
Personal moment. I used to have recurring nightmares about a witch that would tickle me to death.
Oh my God, what was her name again? Or do we not want to say it?
She was the witch, and her assistant's name was Cookie.
The assistant, yeah.
Yep. Witch and Cookie. And they would both tickle me to death.
To death?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And you know when you can like feel someone tickling you in your dreams?
Ew.
No, I know.
That's
shit.
like-
I am in the further.
You are. I think I've talked about this in our Silver Bullet episode maybe, but like I have that recurring dream of being in like an old house at night, running through the house being chased by a werewolf.
You and werewolves.
I know. And it's recurring. Like I'm always in the same place. I maybe have it like once every 6 months or so, but it's spooky.
So I'm in the further and you
Are in Silver Bullet 1985.
Yes, literally.
Yeah. After this whole like come to Jesus moment, so to speak, with Lorraine confessing to Josh.
Wouldn't you be pissed at your mom?
Oh, pissed.
Like what the fuck?
Where was all this information? Yeah. So Lorraine then reveals old photos to Josh and the whole everyone that's there, showing this shadowy old woman inching closer to young Josh in each successive image. It's very spooky.
Also, it's interesting how photos are a theme in horror movies. Like,
yes.
Again, I keep saying The fucking Ring, but The Ring. Possession? Shutter?
You're thinking of The Omen.
Oh, I'm thinking of The Omen. All
Yes.
those movies blend together in my brain.
Yes, The Omen, 100%. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a theme.
A theme.
And the final photo that Lorraine is showing everybody shows the woman's claw-like hand nearly touching Josh, explaining his aversion to photographs. Like he doesn't like getting his photo taken, and there really haven't been a lot of photos of him. And this is a callback to when Lorraine is opening the family photo or unpacking it earlier in the kitchen. And she's like, "Whoa, I can't believe, like, Renee, that you got him to take a family photo. Like, this is crazy." And the spirit's not behind him,
Correct.
in that photo. So it's very weird.
I wonder what they did for their wedding.
It's a good question.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe they just eloped. A little courthouse ceremony.
You still take pictures, though.
No photos, please. And Elise suggests that only Josh can venture into the further to rescue Dalton's soul before it's too late, because he has also has this experience with like astral projecting, which is so crazy.
I wonder why he doesn't remember that. Like, was he hypnotized?
Well, I think they do explain a little bit like towards the end of the film that he kind of just like blocked it out of his memory.
Oh, as we all do with trauma.
Yeah.
Got it.
And like it's taking this kind of situation to sort of bring it all back up. And then now he's like remembering things.
He's starting to recall. Yeah.
And speaking of hypnotizing, Elise hypnotizes Josh, who finds himself standing outside of his body with the world around him. And it's muted and gray. So the coloring again is getting real dark this time.
At first when she's trying to hypnotize him, he's like, "Fuck this shit, it's not working." And then boom, he sees his physical body on the chair, and then he's moving around in the further.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Get Out too. You know that part
Oh,
when she
yeah.
has the tea and she's like stirring the tea with the spoon, and then he's just like kind of falling into this like dark like space. Just so creepy.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, great movie. Elise tells Josh while he's being hypnotized to follow her voice and just let her voice be his guide as he goes into the further to try to rescue Dalton.
I think, okay, so don't get me wrong. This is a great concept. I just think this entire portion of the further could have been shorter.
I do agree.
Okay.
I do agree.
Thank you.
Arguably my favorite part of the film is at the very end, which we're going to get to in a few minutes here. But I think they could have spent a little bit more time on this part that we're going to get to, which I'll get to.
Okay.
The further is this like nightmarish landscape. We've got like fog choked hallways, whispers from like unseen spirits, and there's some flickering lighting. It just feels like, you know, when you get described what like limbo feels like as like a spirit, like you're not really in hell, you're not in heaven, but you're sort of just like, it's like almost giving Beetlejuice like spirits with unfinished business. You know what I mean?
It's my nightmare.
Yeah, it truly is like a
Get it?
nightmare. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Josh sees Dalton in the distance but can't quite reach him, which I'm sure is super frustrating. Then he sees his son Foster, and Foster points him in the direction of their house within the further. So he's also seeing like visions of his life, you know, like he's going to go into the house to try to rescue Dalton. And so Josh enters the house in the darkness and runs into several tortured spirits along the way, including a crying woman, a giggling child, and a seemingly frozen family with empty smiles and hollow eyes, reliving their murders on a loop.
So these are our contestants for Survivor or Bachelor. And
Flavor of Love.
Or Flavor of Love, right. And this is where we get to see them in their, you know, comfort space.
If y'all remember Allie mentioning earlier the bloody handprint, she thinks that it is the family. Because we kind of see this family sitting frozen in the living room, and we find out that it seems that like the daughter like killed murdered them all or something, and so we think it's her psycho ass that might have.
So she has like an idol, so she got to put a bloody hand like in Survivor.
Oh,
you get an idol, and it like gives you more points, or like
it gives you immunity.
Immunity idol. That's what it is. Okay, so it seems like she got an immunity idol, and she got to put a bloody handprint on Dalton's bed.
Kind of like a bloody handprint on a volleyball in Castaway. Boom. Mic drop. Well said.
I just rewatched that. It's really long, but worth it.
It's so good. So, guided by glimpses of Dalton's drawings, Josh finds a red door and the entrance to the demon's lair. And what do we love, Allie?
We love a fucking lair.
Allie loves a lair.
This lair, though, I feel like our demon and the creeper and Jeepers Creepers, well, like they could be roommates.
I think they're friends. They definitely were roommates in college.
And they both have Etsy shops.
They do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the demon is a little bit more musically inclined.
Yes.
Well, actually, they're both musically inclined. Jeepers. Wait.
Jeepers through the creepers.
Wow, we should come out with a music.
I really liked that crossover, though.
Thank you.
Wow, oh my goodness.
We should be friends with both of them and go to their lairs.
We should to their lairs. Inside the lair, Josh goes down a red hallway lined with candles on the walls, and he finds Dalton chained and sobbing. It's like a small, sweet moment in this very scary time, but they are able to reunite. As Josh is trying to free him from the chains, Tiptoe starts playing again, and the red-faced demon is sharpening its claws in a room sort of above where Dalton is. And
it's like giving, what is steampunk? His layers
kind of
like red steampunk music
kind
vibes.
Of foggy.
Yeah.
It's also like feels very Beetlejuicy.
Kind of.
Like it reminds me of something that'd be in like a Tim Burton film.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
The demon then catches Josh trying to free Dalton, and a frantic chase ensues through twisted corridors and spirits clawing at Josh and Dalton as they flee. And in the real world, the crew notices everything come to a stop And Specs and Tucker go to investigate through the house in case they're able to find anything. And while Specs tries to close a drawer, a hand reaches out to him and Elise asks him to check on Dalton immediately. The assistants start to notice spirits popping up in the real world and scaring the shit out of them. Back in the further, Josh is desperately trying to get back into their house and back into their physical bodies. And Josh and Dalton do get separated. And the red demon tries to get Dalton as the old woman tries to get Josh.
Love it.
So scary. So it's like they're two like
Which
main
one are you?
spirits. Which one of the demons?
Are you?
The old woman.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
No, I'm
You're the demon.
with the claws.
You are. You are. Josh confronts the shadowy old woman, shouting defiantly until she recedes into the darkness. And moments later, Josh and Dalton finally awaken in their bodies, seemingly safe.
How they are summoned back, the Renee's, follow my voice, follow my voice. Okay, bitch. You think that's going to work?
It also should be noted here that I love the outfit of this like old woman. She's like, I think they call her the Black Bride. And she's wearing just this black Victorian style dress with her like black veil. And it reminds me of like the outfit I wore to my 30th birthday.
Also, is it almost Helena vibes?
Yes. And you know I love a black veil.
Yeah, you do.
So anyways, I had to just like throw that in there. I really liked her outfit. But she scares the shit out of me. And I'm going to get to that in a sec.
Okay.
Everyone in the house is so happy that Dalton and Josh are back. And especially that Dalton is freed from his coma. And I love that one of the first things that he does is immediately mac on some spaghetti. Because, like, I would too.
Literally. Josh is with Elise, just, kind of debriefing.
Shooting the shit, so to speak.
Shooting the shit, yeah. And Josh basically says, well, I forgot this once. Let's hope I forget it again. And then he says, I guess I won't be needing these pictures that they were reviewing earlier that had
the spirit, the Black
Bride in the back. And something of note is for the rest of the movie, there's basically only candlelight. And did the power go off at some point?
That's a great question, but maybe.
The kitchen seems bright, but the rest of the house seems just lit by they have a lot of candles.
Well, and do you think maybe that is purposeful because the darkness has not fully left the family?
Wow.
Because Elise, as she's talking to Josh, she senses something wrong with him.
Josh hands her the pictures, and she can, when they kind of touch hands, that's when you see her eyes go big.
And we find out a little bit later that she looked at his fingers, and they looked like
claw-ish,
like decrepit, kind of, and like a lot of dirt under his fingernails, and kind of spooky, like a picture like a spooky hand, a little bit.
My hands,
you know what I mean? Yeah, your hands are very spooky. And so she immediately snaps a photo of him. He gets fucking pissed.
He literally is like, why the fuck did you do that? Like, I'm like, if it were me, I'd be say, snap my picture, horizontal, vertical, it's for the gram. But he's saying no.
He's like really upset about it. And you as the viewer are like, wait a minute. Like, obviously you don't like getting your photo taken, but not to this like violent extent. He starts choking Elise. But then we don't see like the rest of the scene kind of play out. We immediately are now back with like Renee and like that side of the family. Renee comes into the living room where Elise and Josh were, and she finds Elise's lifeless body and Josh missing. And there's a lot of dread mounting in this moment. Renee discovers the photo that Elise took of Josh, but instead of seeing Josh, it's just a photo of the Black Bride. You can kind of see that it seems that Renee deduces that it was the Black Bride that may have like killed Elise, and she's freaking out. And I think she even calls out for Josh's name or something. Like she's like, Josh, because she's like trying to find him. And Josh places a hand on Renee's shoulder behind her, and he whispers, I'm right here. Renee's eyes widen in horror as the screen just like cuts to the title again.
Insidious.
Insidious.
And all red.
And with the music. And just like, it's just like, duh. It's like, whoa. Fuck. And then there's like a little post-credits scene where in a dark room, we see the Black Bride, and she's like smirking and kind of blowing out like a single candle.
Hence the candles.
Hence the candles. And darkness then just like engulfs the screen, leaving this like ominous silence. And this was really setting the stage for Insidious Chapter 2.
Fiend.
And Fiend.
Yeah.
Als, what were your final thoughts?
So I'll reiterate, I thought this was scary as fuck when I first saw it. And now I think it's a little bit silly for some reason. I think the scariest parts are the silliest parts, which makes it more tolerable. Also, we're just getting desensitized.
I'm slowly realizing that, and it's making me a little bit sad.
No, I think it's great. But I think they did a great job with the symbolism, incorporating all of these different elements and tying them back together that I just now realized after we have rewatched it. So I think it's a good movie. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I'm in the middle.
I'm sort of in the middle too. And I will say that I do think this film accomplished what James Wan wanted, right?
What James Wan wanted?
Wanted. It gave that scare factor without having to use a lot of blood and violence and stuff, but it still, gave you those, he had those pieces in place that created a very frightening environment.
Yep.
The music, I loved that. Even though there were a couple of jump scares, they didn't rely on that like some horror films do. And to me, dude, the music just hits for me. And you know what it reminds me of is how much I loved the music and how much the music made such a difference in the scare factor for me for Sinister.
Oh, that.
It gives me like kind of similar vibes with that like kind of very scratchy, like violin-y kind of sound and like very high pitches and high tones and stuff like that. I don't know.
I completely agree. And I think score is just such a huge element in any movie, but it's specifically horror movies. And sometimes the lack of score makes it terrifying as well.
Absolutely. Like, oh God, I can't think off the top of my head, but I feel like there was a film we just reviewed where there really isn't a lot of sound. It makes it almost feel like more real.
Yeah.
When there's like not as much going on. But I also really enjoyed the like second half or like even maybe the final quarter of this film, even though it almost is a direct ripoff of Poltergeist, and it's such a rinse and repeat. Like we've seen that same trope in many different films. I still really enjoyed it. I loved like the little like odes to the original Poltergeist. I loved how you kind of knew what was going to happen because you've seen Poltergeist before, but it still was like its own journey in itself. And dude, for me, just the Black Bride, she is terrifying.
Oh, I like her.
I like her. I loved her. I loved her outfit. Like I said, absolutely. But I think that bleeds into the scary scale a little bit for me of like, did I think this film was scary? I don't know why, but I'm just not scared of the red-faced demon with like the cul-de-sac hairline. He just does not scare me. Mr. Middle-aged Darth Maul. I feel like if he was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like what kind of hair would he have? But he just like really didn't like freak me out for some reason at all. But what did it for me was the Black Bride. I thought she was the scariest part of this film. And especially at the end, coming in after we think that all of the problems are resolved. And then, we have that camera moment. Mm-hmm. We see she's like fucking still haunting shit up. This is going to open the chapter 2 like door for the next film. Like that really is what locked it in for me and scared me. And I think the baby monitor stuff was scary.
The voices over baby monitor, sound systems, whatever, that kind of always scares me. But I totally agree. I think she was much scarier. Now that I've rewatched it so many times, I think, again, my cutie patootie is Darth Maul.
I'm just noting here that we need to make a t-shirt, I think, with like all of Allie's cutie patooties. That's
going to be a very busy t-shirt.
Yeah, that will be a very busy t-shirt.
We also need one for layers.
Layers.
Well, what was your favorite scene?
This might not be exciting to anybody, but I think two of my favorite scenes that are related to each other is A, when Lorraine, the mom, Josh's mom, is reviewing the photos with everybody and she's showing the Black Bride kind of slowly taking over in each of these like young photos of Josh. And then I think related is that final scene where we get the Black Bride kind of coming in and we see she's very much still attached to Josh.
Did you read my notes?
No. Was that your favorite?
Same.
Shut up.
Both of those.
What?
I'm like, when we figure out Josh is the vessel, also anything with the two assistants, kind of, is fun.
I mean, I do love those.
And
so.
I love my little tiptoe through the window boy.
He's fun. We need to know more about him.
Yeah. Again, we're making that film, so stay tuned.
All right, friends. Well, that was Insidious. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. You can find us on social media at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks on Instagram and TikTok. You can also join our Spooky Chicks social club over on Patreon. But the biggest way to support us is to leave a 5-star review wherever you listen, or simply just share with a friend who loves horror. Allie, do you want to take us out?
Fuck yeah, I do. Maybe don't become a vessel for demons. Always tiptoe through the tulips and stay spooky fuckers.